go. Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Snake Catchers podcast. The first one went down extremely well to the 30-odd people that listened to it.
It's better than zero.
It's better than zero, but yeah, again, we've got to start somewhere, I suppose. We've had a bit of a change of scenery as well since the first episode, which might be a theme, sort of going backwards and forwards between our places.
Whatever works at the time.
Yeah, whatever works. But we're in my snake room at the moment. So yeah, nice backdrop. We've got one of my scrubbies in the background there. Might say hello. But yeah, this is episode 2. And what we're going to be doing is basically a bit of a sort of Q&A of commonly asked questions that we get quite a bit when we're on callouts or in messages or stuff like that. But first, recent callouts since the last episode. It's been about a week or so since the last one.
I ducked away for a couple of days. And it just happened to be when the weather wasn't great, so got away with that. But yeah, since we got back the last couple of days, it's been busy, or fairly busy again, considering it's still only been low 20s.
19, 20 degrees, yeah.
I think, yesterday caught 4 snakes, which is, pretty good. A couple of bigger ones in there too, a couple winery ones, which are always nice. And then, just the one today was a bit cooler again, so just only got the one today, and I think sent Brett to one as well.
Yeah, I only did the one today as well, Lake Savo.
But it's just been, weird weather, but it's good to, yesterday was good. It was good to get onto a couple.
4 from 3.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. 4 snakes from 3 calls.
Yeah. I think the 2 got 2 at one job, and they were pretty small, just stuck in a cellar. It's where me and Will went a week or so ago, and we couldn't find them down there. They went back down the drain, and then when we she called me back, and I was like right there, so I couldn't really call Will because he was. I was just right there. They ended up getting 2, which kind of sucked for him, but and then from there, ended up getting one at one winery on one side of the Barossa and one on the other side, and they were both pretty sizable snakes, which was nice. And it was a bit cooler, so it wasn't too hectic. One chasing one out of a bush, and the other one was just curled up nicely under some racking, I think. So
can be lucky sometimes.
Yeah,
calls like that.
It's not very. I think the last, including the ones even I've sent you, I think we've caught a snake each time, which doesn't really happen. You always get a few in there or you go in a row of not catching anything because they're not watching them or something like that.
So many reasons.
Yeah, and then yesterday's just every call out was a snake, and you're like, oh, get excited.
Yeah, you take those jobs when they come. That's for sure. So it's been a busy couple of days for you. I've done a few sort of, yesterday and Sunday over the weekend. I think you did a couple more than me yesterday. But last week when you were away, I had a few. One in particular stands out. On the Thursday that you were away, I got a call down Salisbury by council workers for a bag on the side of the road. They were just cleaning up some rubbish, and the bag was moving and hissing at them, which sounded very suspicious when they called me. So I went down there, and someone had dumped a carpet python on the side of the road. Fucking grubs, absolute grubs. So I went down and collected that. Luckily, the council workers did the right thing and called it in, and we were able to go, pick the snake up. So it's currently sort of under observation at the moment. It has been looked at by a vet. The snake itself is in decent condition, so suggests that, a captive animal that, someone just didn't want to look after anymore and, thought that was the right way to go about it, which is absolutely not the case.
No.
If you have a pet that you don't want to look after, you can just surrender it.
Yeah.
You don't have to, dump it on the side of the road. But again, we don't know the exact sort of circumstances of this sort of stuff. But the amount of messages I got from snake catchers after that saying that the same sort of thing had happened to them in previous seasons was ridiculous.
I don't know whether there's enough information out there for people that actually know that. Well, in South Australia anyway, you can actually surrender it. Like we got Cleveland Wildlife Park where you can. They don't ask any. Like I've had to do it before for a similar thing to Brett, and they don't ask any questions or anything. Like they just take it. You just got to sign a bit of paperwork and that's it. So like if you really are struggling to keep it or whatever, or you can't get rid of it and you need to get rid of it, you don't. Yeah, there's always a way to.
Yeah,
like humanely get rid of them rather than just dump them on the side of the road
to potentially just die
in the heat,
cook in the sun, potentially get hit by a car that didn't know it was there. But no, we got him. He's under observation, and hopefully we'll have a second chance.
Yeah.
Now, so bit of a sad call out, but we had a positive outcome out of it, which is always what we sort of strive for.
Yeah.
When we go on calls and stuff like that.
Oh, it's better than coming across a dead one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And wishing you got there sooner or something like that. So
yeah, absolutely.
At least he seems fine, so...
Yeah, and again, we've had it for a couple of days now. We do need to take it up and surrender it, but yeah, the snake seems fine. He's isolated away from all my other animals, so... Yeah, when I could be bothered driving out to Cleveland, I'll take him out there and, pass him over, which is, again, the legal requirement for what has to happen when we find a snake like that.
Yeah.
There's another one. I did another one straight after that carpet python one for a red belly out in Williamstown.
Was that the one in the driveway you posted?
That was a different... It might have been the one you're thinking of. It wasn't on the driveway, though. Nah.
It looked like it.
Nah.
Is that the one where someone called you like...
Yeah.
right at the end of the video.
Yeah. So I went out to Williamstown. I'd been out to this place before last season and caught a red belly. So I went out again, same sort of situation. They'd just sort of seen it in the backyard moving around. When I got there, no sign of the snake whatsoever. So I spent half an hour poking around, looking for it. Where they said they'd last seen it, in the corner of the property, there was a big gap in the fence. So, suspicions, I thought that, it had just buggered off through there and gone into the paddock next door. But yeah, after half an hour of looking up, I was just having a chat with the homeowners, lovely people. And as we were having a chat, I heard something behind me which sounded very suspicious of a snake moving through leaf litter. And I sort of put my hand up to stop them talking for a sec, and I walked over, and this snake had come out from under a massive moss rock and was just moving along the fence line.
Just waiting for you to leave.
And I was, able to grab him and bag him up. You may have seen in the video, I grabbed the snake, bagged him up, and get another call as I was doing it.
Yeah.
And ended up going to another one after that.
Yeah.
Back in Golden Grove, so... Yeah, Salisbury to Williamstown, back to Golden Grove.
You're the Golden Grove king at the moment.
Yeah.
Thanks to Google.
Absolutely. Yeah, Google's an odd one sometimes, isn't it?
And you're just a good operator, mate.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Few and far between.
But yeah, I mean, I've done a few more. I won't sort of spoil too many because we'll use them for the socials as well.
Yeah. One today was pretty funny that I had actually. It's sort of almost a bit similar. I wasn't there for as long, but like the bloke, I've been there before last season. So the bloke knew the routine. He was watching, and I think I was there within like 5 minutes or something. It was in Greenock. I was about 5 minutes from Neary sort of thing, and I was pretty much ready to go. And he's like, I went into this big sort of bush tree thing at the front near his front door, and he's watching it. Didn't come out, and then. There's actually good time in this call because I wanted to talk about this a bit. People that bloody go, like you see catchers run into a bloody situation pretty much, stir everything up because they're in a rush trying to find the snake. And all you do, and if it is somewhere where it's going to go and hide, it's just going to go and hide. And then you're probably less chance of or scaring it off and you don't see it, sort of thing. Whereas like I explained to the bloke, I'm like, it was a sizable snake, well, it turns out it was too, and he was telling me it was, but you don't always believe people when they say that. But he almost did like a bit of a reconnaissance sort of loop around where it was last seen. Well, obviously you're looking where they saw it just in case it is sitting there, but it's not very often that it's still sitting there. So you're sort of doing a loop around where it was, and then just sort of working your way in a little bit rather than going straight
Just
in and
going in full ball.
bloody, making noise and everything to try and flush it out. That's sort of the last option once you'd gone through and checked everything. And sure enough, went in, did a look and did a bit of reconnaissance, walked my way around like the outskirts sort of thing to sort of, just in case he'd slipped past, and then came in, and then sure enough I just saw his tail just drop down out of the bush. So he was obviously in there, and me walking around got him out. And then it was a bit cooler too, so he sort of stood his ground a bit more rather than taking off. And then I found him. It would have been good to get that on video actually. But it just goes to show you it's a bit of experience too. Like
Experience, patience.
Doing it enough. You're not going in there like you see some people do and make a whole heap of noise and racket just because you're in a rush to get to the next one or something like that, and not actually, you're forgetting you're actually on that job and you got to do a good job there, sort of thing. Yeah. And then it paid off, and he just saw him, and because I'm not running around like an idiot, like the snake wasn't in any sort of rush, he just sort of slowly cruised out. And I'm like, hey buddy,
there we go.
And then he sort of played the game. They obviously try to get a little dash right at the end, but managed to get him in a handful of weeds in my hand as well, as it often happens. But yeah, it was actually a pretty cool catch really, and it was like over 5 or 10 minutes. So I wasn't there for very long, which is always good too.
That's always good to get it done.
Yeah, it's just I guess that sort of another little thing that sort of happens on call outs too, that you're not sort of going in there like a bull at a gate and in a rush. I guess
it's amazing on call outs as well. Like the times when you turn up a snake after
doing all that,
already doing a lap, and then you get it on the second or third time. That happens. Well, can happen quite often. Like when you go around once, don't turn anything up, come back, you might turn it up. Just calmly going around that first time, maybe disturbed him enough to show himself on the way back round.
I mean, I've just sort of always done that sort of thing anyway. It's just always worked. Like, unless it's contained and they know exactly where it is and it's obviously like in somewhere. I'd never thought it hurts just to go around calmly and just have a look and just check it out, because it's happened before too, where I've just walked around the corner and he's like, oh, there he is. And
there he is.
And like, you just have that awkward moment of like, you both turn around the corner and you both get that awkward couple of seconds where you're just like, hey. And he's just like, hey. And then he's trying to work you out. And then you're wanting him to take off the other way so you can grab him, but they won't. They'll just stand there and try to work out what you're doing. And then, you sort of wait that awkward moment. But, little things. Again.
And again, it's more likely that they will show themselves when you're more calm in the situation. Again, going in at a bull at a gate, bash and crash everything, trying to turn them up. If they're in there, they're just going to bunker down most of the time and not want to show themselves.
100%,
But so a few calls for the last sort of week or so.
Give us something to talk about.
So like we said at the start, this is just going to be a sort of a Q&A episode. So we've got a few frequently asked questions that we'll go through and give our best sort of answers for those. Some of these will lead on into future episodes. Like, there's a few questions here that we could do a whole episode on. So we might just give short answers for now, and then might lead into a few epides down the track.
Before we go into that, I meant to tell you this before actually. I had a mate. He listened to the podcast, and he's not into snakes or anything, but he sort of listened to a bit of feedback and that sort of thing. And he knows like all the stuff that we sort of cop on social media sometimes. Yeah. And like just the boomer comments on there. He's just like, you should do a unhinged comment of the week. And then just name and shame them.
And then there's too many to choose from. There's too many to choose from.
Oh, that was pretty funny.
I think that'll soon be something we introduce down the track.
Unhinged comment of the week. It's few and far between, but it gets to you.
It does. Like,
it's like you can have 100 good comments, then one bad one, then you think about the one bad one. And you just, it gets to a point where you just don't want to look at the comments, but there's positive ones in there that you want to reply to or thank people because they say something positive.
Yeah.
But then, like, to do that, you have to look at generally boomers on there, like,
that have nothing better to do with their lives.
Yeah, they attacked me in the comments one time because I said it was all boomers, and I took the time to go through and look, and like every comment that was a stupid shovel comment or something ridiculous, you go to their profiles and it's literally that old like boomer like selfie like profile picture, and they're trying to like, then they say, oh, you disrespectful. I'm like, no, I've just looked at all the comments and they're all like people in their 650s,
all that demographic
having a go, and they've got like 20 friends on there, and they jump on there and think they're cool for saying negative stuff on a snake catching page, like when we're all about saving native wildlife and they think it's cool to say stupid comments. So.
And again, we said this in the first episode, every snake catcher in the country gets it. Like, it's not just us, it's not just other catchers we work with, it's literally every snake catcher in the country cops that shit. And one of your posts a while back, you had someone from Sunshine Coast Snake Catchers commenting, saying that the same bloke comments on their stuff. Like, get a job, mate. Like, what are you doing with your day? Like, trying to troll us for,
That's how you got to think about it too, though. Like, the people that do that, they're just like, you obviously just think about the situation there where they feel like they've got to say that. Then it's why you don't really give them the time of day, sort of thing.
No.
I've sort of every now and then I'll call, if I see something then I've got time, I'll call them out or something like that. But
it's not worth it most of the time.
More often than not, they're set in their ways, and there's nothing that you can say.
And that's all they want as well.
Yeah,
they're trying to bait the reply out, and that's all they want.
Yeah, sometimes if I feel like playing around with them or something, I'll just say something positive back, like. I'll be like, oh, thanks for your comment, like, helped my algorithm. This has helped me push my video out more, thank you. Don't even address what they actually said. But
I like to come up with something original. I've never heard that one before. Like,
sick, mate.
Good on you. All right, let's get into the Q&A. We can waffle on about those Muppets for another hour or so. But all right, so again, a few questions we'll go through. Pretty standard that we get quite often. So what should someone do if they see a snake on their property, Dan?
Run away and scream and don't watch it. No, that's complete opposite. Obviously if it's in an area where it's not safe, like there's kids and pets around, that sort of thing, try and get the kids and dogs away and that sort of stuff away from the situation, and just try and keep an eye on it as best you can. There are a lot of instances where they will probably just move through.
Particularly this time of year, sort of springtime.
So like that's my first question when someone rings, is just like, can you still see it? And if they can't still see it and they're not sure where it's gone, then I sort of just give them a couple options. Like, either way we can have someone out, sort of let them know that we do charge for a call out fee, so that sometimes makes their mind up for them. But generally speaking, we'll just give them a couple options if they don't know where it is, and obviously if they do know, just keeping an eye on it till we get there. Normally, like where the call outs we get, like we're both within, at worst, like half an hour at worst. I mean, most of the places in the Barossa for me, like 10 to 20 minutes, if that. Brett's like the same around his area.
20 to Gawler, Williamstown.
Just keeping an eye on it, staying calm. They don't want to. If you keep a safe distance from them, they're not going to do anything to you. But that, obviously keeping an eye on it's the best. The best chance of cows catching it. But there is also the fact that a lot of them do move through it, just moving through, depending on where you are and that sort of thing too in the situation. But a lot of the time I'll be like, we'll just wait and see, keep the dogs and kids inside for the rest of the day and just give it a chance to move. And then if a couple hours later it's still there, then try and keep eyes on it and we'll come out. Either way, we're happy to come out and have a look, but it's just up to the individual, and every situation is different.
So situational. So leading on from that question, if someone sees a snake on their property, will it chase or attack them?
It'll chase you and come and bite you in the face.
This is a question I've got quite a bit recently, because you always hear stories of people. I had my mate's brother's son got chased by a snake down Ooda Whoop Whoop, this sort of thing. And it's like, well, No, you didn't. Like, there's no sugarcoating it. You didn't get chased by a snake. You may have perceived the snake's defensive behaviour as being chased by it.
Yeah.
But you weren't.
No. In reality.
In reality, no, you weren't chased or attacked by the snake. Like, again, when you think about it, like the amount of bites and snake bite fatalities we have in this country, if snakes wanted to attack us,
everyone would be getting bitten.
There'd be a lot more than what there is.
Yeah.
Like, these animals just want to be left alone, not harassed or harmed or anything like that. They just want to live their lives. Having said that, they will defend themselves if necessary. So if you corner one or get it in a space where it can't get away, it's going to come and defend itself, and rightly so.
Yeah.
You know, if someone cornered me and I couldn't go anywhere, I'd probably, have a swing as well.
I can't imagine you doing that, Brett.
No, not at all. Not at all. But it's the same for the snake. Like, it's their defensive mechanism that they need to survive, and that's all it is to them. It's survival.
Yeah, you put yourself in their shoes, where imagine something 100 times bigger than you, like standing over you trying to do. Of course, you're going to do something about it.
Yeah,
it's no different to a snake. Like, and still, like, their first instinct is to try and get away. It's just if they can't get away, then
they'll defend themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like, we've both got videos of this on the Facebook pages.
And people still don't believe it.
Like literally releasing a snake, a wild caught one. We've caught it from somewhere. I've got a video. I've released it. I've literally walked in front of it. It's turned around and gone the opposite way. I've walked back around in front of it, and it's done the exact same thing. Like, they don't want to chase or attack us. Again, we're not their food source. We are just potentially predators to them, and they just want to survive. Yeah. So, no. And no one's been chased by a snake. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So, what time of year are snakes most active?
Yeah, pretty much. So, well, for us down here anyway, I think it's the same, sort of similar up in the other states and that sort of thing. But, generally coming into spring, obviously. Around here, it's a bit later. It's like sort of definitely October. This year's been even weirder because it's been cold.
It has been,
But generally speaking, like, you get into, like, mid-October, and that's when it sort of starts
booming.
Like, mid-October into early November, that's sort of peak, like, activity, because they just sort of... One, like, people see more of them because it's gone from, like, nothing to, like, them all moving, so it seems like there's a lot too. But then, you obviously got mating pairs, like males chasing after females, all that sort of thing. Even younger ones just looking for a feed, trying to get their first feed in their belly and that sort of thing. So, it's pretty much, mid-October to early November is the busiest, and then there's always that little lull going into Christmas time.
Into the really hot time.
And then it's really hot. Like, that's a misconception too, with snakes loving the hot weather. Like, they do need the sun to warm up, but once it starts getting into like the mid-high 30s, they don't want to be out in it.
So that sort of goes on to the next question as well, is, are snakes active at night? So for South Australia, well, the sort of Adelaide Hills and Barossa region, typically they're diurnal, so active during the day. Northern part of Australia, you get lots of nocturnal snakes or your big pythons and stuff like that moving around. Down here, they are typically diurnal. However, on extremely hot days, like Dan was just saying, they will be active into the evening. And there was a couple of days last summer where it was 40 plus during the day, didn't get a single call out, and then as soon as the sun went down, it started. Like, and you wouldn't be home until 1 o'clock in the morning. Because you've had a few calls, but just because it's too hot for them to move around during the day, and they just want to move around to that little bit cooler period. It's typically not too common any other time really, except for those sort of really extremely hot days over the summer period. So they can be active at night down here, but it's not very common.
It's sort of, you think, like, snakes generally like to keep their body temperature about 30 degrees, roughly around there. So, like, they'll obviously bask in higher temperatures and that to get up to that 30, but once they get to that, they want to try and maintain that, so they've obviously got to self-regulate, being ectothermic. And when it is really hot during the day, at night time when the sun goes down, it could still be 30 degrees, and that's perfect for them. They don't need the sun as such. If the ambient temperature is 30 degrees, that's all they need.
More than enough.
For them to digest food and do all that sort of thing. So
yeah. So next one, what attracts snakes to my property? There's three main things that snakes want that we provide them: food, water, shelter.
Yeah.
We are very messy humans. Mess attracts rodents. Rodents attract snakes. That's all it is. They just want to eat the rodents. And a lot of the time we provide them with those rodents by not keeping on top of them. Water, again, particularly over the sort of really hot, like summer periods of 35 plus degrees for days, weeks on end, they will come in for water as well. So that could be backyard ponds, a dripping tap out the back, a pet water bowl, something like that. And shelter. They want to hide somewhere. They want to be secure, like any animal does. And again, people are very messy. We provide them with lots of shelter with all of our clutter and shit like that. So, the best advice we give to people is, keep a clean yard, keep on top of your rodents, and then, move pet water bowls and stuff like that inside.
Yeah.
It's really, really simple when you think about it.
Yeah. And like you pretty much like anywhere in Australia, you're gonna potentially get a snake in your yard. Doesn't really matter where you are. So like you're pretty much reducing it from inviting snakes to live like on your property to like just having one every now and then that will just pass through and you're not worrying about it, or you don't even see it pass through. That's pretty much what I'm trying to get to.
And again, spring is the time that they're going to pass through because they're more active. They want to, find a mate, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But once it starts getting warmer, they will settle in an area, and you sort of want to make it as less appealing to them as possible to want to settle in that area. So, food, water, and shelter are the three main things that we provide them, which is why eastern brown snakes in particular do so well in an urban environment. Because we basically just provide them with everything that they need to survive.
And they've just adapted to that too. Obviously, they would have fed on different things like before. I think I was having a conversation with someone about that the other day. Like in Victoria, like in Melbourne, the Melbourne area, there used to be like way more tiger snakes before like the settlers came over and that sort of thing. And then as Europeans came over and like they bring rodents with them and all that. Then the tiger snakes moved out a little bit. And
brown snakes moved in.
Yeah, browns moved in sort of thing. So, like, just because of the food source, essentially.
And that's all it is for the eastern browns. Like, they eat mice. That's their main food source. They will, of course, eat other things as well. I've seen them eat lizards and small birds and, stuff like that. But primarily they're eating rodents.
Yeah. I guess, like, with eastern browns too, they'll when they're smaller, they might not eat rodents. Like when they're first starting out. When they're juvies and stuff, they'll eat like little skinks, and I mean I've seen photos of hatchies trying to eat insects, and like they're pretty much
geckos and stuff like that.
Opportunistic. And then once they get to a certain size, they can actually eat a rodent, and that's when they change. And obviously their venom sort of changes too as they change their diet. That's sort of been proven as well. But yeah, generally speaking, like rodents are the big thing that'll attract snakes. Do snakes live in pairs or families? Yeah, they live in massive dens.
Massive dens. The amount of calls you get is, I've got a snake nest in my backyard. Again, no, you don't.
Nah, the only snake that actually makes a nest is a king cobra, and as far as I'm aware, we don't actually have native king cobras in Australia.
They'd be here.
But yeah, the only time you really see them together is obviously like we're talking about like mating. You might get a female and a couple of males combating to mate with a female or something like that. That's when you might get a few. There are some funny circumstances where you may get a couple, but it's sort of really very rare to have more than one sort of living together outside of mating and that sort of thing. If it is like a real hot spot for food, and there's plenty of hiding spots, there is potential, but generally in a residential setting, they're generally going to be by themselves. And unless the other end of the spectrum is when they hatch out of their eggs, there's obviously like up to 30 or 40 baby snakes. And if there's some eggs near somewhere and you see them, you could see a few all at once, but that's really, each end of the spectrum with seeing a few together and all that. But generally speaking, they'll be by themselves, and the mum has no maternal instinct either. So when you hear see if someone's got a baby and they ask where mum is, it's just, if mum was here, the mum would probably eat the baby.
Yeah, I've said that a few times this season. Just because I've got a baby snake, where's mum? Mum would eat baby if mum was around.
Yeah.
Mum, would take an opportunistic meal like that. And again, I had it a couple of times last season, sort of later in the season, where there was a sort of larger eastern brown snake wrapped around and eating a smaller one. They do have territories that they move within, and a lot of the time a big eastern brown, particularly a male, will keep other males away. And in those sort of situations potentially eat them as well. A lot of people are surprised when I tell them that they'll actually cannibalize each other. Have seen it multiple times of them trying to eat each other.
I know you seem to come across it way more than I have.
I've gotten a few sort of different ones, haven't I?
I mean, you've caught more mating pairs than I have too. Funnily enough, they've come from me, but I've never. I think the other day was the first time I caught a couple, like two, and they weren't mating. That was just another. Sometimes that was just a crazy set of circumstances.
I caught those two couple of weeks ago in Gawler as well. They weren't a breeding pair; they were just a couple of adolescents that were having a bit of a scrap. And that probably trying to assert dominance. Yeah,
well, that's the other thing too. Like, if you, like we said, generally they're going to be by themselves, but that doesn't mean they're not going to be hunting each other too. Like Brett was saying, like you could see two, and then like one just eats the other one. So, and that's why, it's there's a lot of variables and stuff like that too. Like being wildlife, like anything can happen too. Like anything's on the table with wildlife.
Yeah, when you think you've got them figured out, they just do something completely out of character and throw you off.
That's why it is always learning with what we do too. Like you never. Like, you're never like, I wouldn't say you're never good enough, but you never like, you can always get better. There's just always things you can learn. Like every call out's different, so you're always learning stuff. You just got to keep learning and not be arrogant and just think you know everything.
That goes a lot with the behaviour from the snakes as well. Like learning how to read that, which
takes a lot of time.
A lot of time, which we'll sort of do in a future episode. On the specific behaviours that we sort of look for when we're out on calls.
We're about 33 in, so
okay.
If you want to do a couple more or something.
We'll do a couple more and then we can wrap it up. Do you charge for a call out, and if so, why do we charge for a call out?
Because it's a job.
Literally, it's just that simple, isn't it?
It's pretty crazy. I mean, to be honest, like most people get it now. Like early days, 20 years ago, it wasn't really a thing, but now, obviously, with more population and stuff, it's just more of a common thing that happens. And obviously, we've got, expenses. You got insurances. Fuel's the biggest thing. Permits, all that sort of stuff. Plus, it's just a general time to do something. And we're more often than not every day handling the second most venomous snake in the world. When you think about it like that, it's like the risk that we put upon ourselves to make someone feel better about themselves. Like, yes, we charge for it, of course. Like, why wouldn't we? Exactly.
And like, it's only a 6-month sort of thing in SA.
If we're lucky. For that time, for a lot of snake catchers, it might be their primary source of income as well. Like how we put food on the table, how we pay our bills and stuff like that. So, and it's a skill that not many people have.
It's
there's even more reason that we
such a highly specialised service.
Yeah.
And again, it is a service that we provide.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's any time of the day.
any time of the day. If you called a plumber out at midnight, they'd expect a call-out fee as well.
Probably 10 times more than what we do.
Absolutely, it would be. And again, they might not be able to fix that problem right away.
Yeah.
We might not catch the snake on a call-out right away.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's the amount of times you go to a call too, and you just work it out with them too. Like, you just work out a plan for if you can't find it. You either give them advice on what has happened, or if there's a resident sort of snake, you work out a plan with them, and you work it out together, and eventually you do get the snake. Like, if it's something like a problem snake or something, problem snake.
oh yeah, we use that term very loosely because they're not a problem. They're just perceived as a problem.
Yeah, exactly. If people would actually learn to live with them a bit better, then, which is what we sort of try to do with the education side of things. It's a bit harder with kids and dogs and that sort of thing, but I know people that, a few people in the Barossa I know of that talk to me every now and then, and they know they've got a snake in a certain area of the property, and they just know it's there, and it is what it is. Like,
yeah, I know a few people around the hills with that as well. Something I saw on Facebook a while ago. It was in an ID group, and it was one of the best things I've seen, particularly from a farmer who typically they don't favour snakes. But he posted it in an ID group. He said, "Don't need an ID. Just wanted to post the big fella, eastern brown snake, who lives under our water tank." And he had all the typical comments saying, "Oh, why don't you kill it?" And his reply was, "Why would I do that? He keeps on top of the rodents for me, and I top his water bowl up. we have our areas, and we respect each other, and that's it." It's like, why can't people just have that mentality? Like,
but it's just the people just brought up. That's how you brought up. That's all it is. And people just get brought up with that mentality.
Fear is taught.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the media, obviously.
Media doesn't help. I got plenty to say about the media, but we'll leave that for another episode. How quickly can we arrive after a call?
Depends. Sometimes depends on what sort of day it is. Generally, like we were saying before, generally speaking, in my end of the Barossa there, I'll be sort of between anywhere from 2 minutes to 20 to sort of half an hour, depending where you are. But generally on the valley floor there, I'll be sort of between 10 to 15 minutes sort of thing. By the time I get my stuff together, if I'm not already on the road. Then we're sort of on a busy day, whatever, you're sort of prioritising things too a bit. So you might get a call from someone that saw it an hour ago and doesn't know where it is, compared to then you get a call straight after for a childcare centre or a school or something like that, or a hospital, which is pretty common too. You just prioritise things. So it does vary, but generally speaking, it's under half an hour.
Typically under half an hour, which is why it's good sort of having more of a network of catches as well.
Yeah.
Because, I go to calls for you in the southern Barossa when you can't get to them.
Yeah.
I'm only 20 minutes away from there.
Yeah.
If I get a call in Mount Barker, for example, that's 45 minutes from here. I'm not going to make someone wait 45 minutes when they're, potentially freaking out because they've seen a snake. I'll give them a number of someone who's in Mount Barker, who potentially 5 minutes away. It's not about our ego in those situations and, wanting to do a call because we want to get paid.
Unlike some people.
Unlike some people, yeah.
Mainly one person.
One person.
Wink, wink.
He'll be brought up again, I bet. But yeah, it's not about our ego. It's about helping the customer and the snake.
Yeah.
And the longer we wait, the longer potentially, something else could happen.
Yeah.
I suppose. So if I get a call 40 minutes into the sort of southern end of the hills, I'll pass it on. I know the catchers down there do the same for me up this end of the hills. I'm a lot closer up here. They're a lot closer down there. And again, same in the Barossa.
Yeah.
We just sort of work together to send the closest person we can.
I think it's gotten a lot better because you hear stories, mainly before I started, of mainly on in the in like not the city, like the suburbs and stuff. You hear like snake catchers not getting along with each other, and it's all a shit fight.
Yeah.
To get to calls and all this sort of stuff. But I've found like generally we all work together. Like, I mean, obviously me and Brett work together pretty closely, but like as Brett was saying, like the more you can work together, the better everything is. And I've found like more as each season goes on, everyone's working together. There's obviously a few people you don't want to associate with at all, but
again, just one.
Mainly just one.
Just one.
But apart from that, as long as people have similar sort of ethics as you, you're happy to work with them and that sort of thing. So yeah,
Yeah, you gotta sort of stay in good with everyone as best you can, because again, like pass calls onto them, they'll pass calls back onto you. It's a working relationship. While we might not work directly with them, it still goes the same way.
Yeah, exactly. It's just about a bit of mutual respect with people too. So
yeah, that's it. And just trying your best to get along with everyone.
Yeah.
Again, all except one. This is a very common one, and it's probably, at least, on every call out, one in every two or so. Have you been bitten or had any close calls?
Close calls, yes, but not bitten. And even close calls, I wouldn't be regarded as a close call to some other people either. It's just, and it's normally complacency, but really off the top of my head, there's only really one. Like obviously they take pot shots at you sometimes when you're tailing them and that sort of thing, but I've only really had one where it was nearly through the bag when I'd have done everything right, tied the bag off, put the hook over the bag, and I was tying on the safe side of the bag, and the snake sort of flipped out in the bag and sort of rolled over my foot on one side, and then came, like, as I had my, if you watch on the video, had my hand like that, and he came over like just spazzed out in the bag and went bang, and the snake, the whole snake just landed on my hand, like, even though he was in the bag, but they can easily bite through the bag, and that's how a lot of catches have been done too, just complacency and getting scratched through the bag. That was probably like the closest I sort of come, even though it wasn't technically even, I guess some people wouldn't even call that a close call, but that's probably the closest I've had.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Off the top of my head, that's probably the worst one, but that's not even that bad, really.
Again, it rings home, shit. this can potentially happen.
Yeah, I did have one last season with a hatchie. It was just one of those days I'd done like 4 or 5 hatchies.
Hatchies,
out of anywhere, I was at a bloody school, at a high school, and everyone was watching, and I don't know, like, is this the complacency thing again? Like, I just had done like 3 or 4 already, and it was like my 5th hatchie of the day. And looking back at it now, it was in the open, I could have just put my bag there and just used my hook or something, literally just flicked him in the bag. For some reason, I tailed him, and I went to tail him, and as I went to tail him, he flipped back and just landed on my hand. And like obviously didn't do anything, just like landed on my hand, and just that was it. And then I sort of shit myself and like stood there and swore. And all the kids watching me, he's like, "Oh, he got bitten." But yeah, that put the wind up me a bit, and I sort of pulled my head in a bit there and just, reminded myself you just got to keep thinking. You can't really switch off. Just like little things like that. I didn't even need to tail him or touch him at all. Like, he's in the open, I could have just chucked him in the bag, but I mean, like, flicked him in the bag or something. But yeah, that was probably the worst one.
And again, it is just like when stuff like that happens, it is just a reminder that it's like, okay, I am working with a potentially very dangerous animal here.
Yeah,
this can happen.
Yeah,
and you've got to read every situation differently. Like you said, you didn't have to tail him. No. You could have just put the bag down and flicked him in. I have also not been bitten by a medically significant snake. I've been bitten by plenty of others, but nothing medically significant or highly venomous. Closest call I had was last season as well. It was a call you sent me to in Gawler. I don't even know if I've told you this. In a sort of retaining wall garden bed type situation, it was only about 2 foot long, so horrible size. It was mid-20s, so it was warm, fired up. He came out one end and I was sort of standing by the wall waiting for him to go past me. So he was on my left-hand side. I was waiting for him to go past me. Then as he did, I came around and tailed him, pulled him out, and as I did that, he flung up past my hand, come back down, and then just sort of head-butted my hand on the way.
Told me that.
On the way down. No, I don't think I did. And again, like didn't have mouth open or anything like that, but just spazzed out and just happened to come back down and hit
on the hand that you're tailing with.
Yeah, on the hand that I was tailing with. Yeah.
That would have put the wind up, yeah.
Yeah, it did. Again, a horrible sized snake for it to happen with the 2-footers. Yeah. They're very whippy. Again, in situations like that, there's not really too many other options than tailing them to get them out. And even though, I had the bag right there ready to go him in, it was literally as I tailed him, I got him out, he spazzed out, and then...
It's more often than not when you got him off if you have to take him off the ground or something like that. If you can keep the first third on the ground, they stay. They don't generally come back on themselves too much.
Yeah.
So as soon as they feel not secure, sort of thing, they'll just try.
They'll come back up on themselves.
I've had a couple like the last few bigger ones I've caught have actually put up a bit more of a fight. Like they've just ended up being. You're always wary, like the not necessarily the skinny ones, but the bulky ones that obviously got a fair bit of muscle. And they, I've had them, like a few of them, like literally,
they can fly. They can fly.
Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing, you'll catch like 20 snakes in a row that don't do anything, and then you just
it's just the one.
Anyone can sort of flip out, and that's what brown snakes are sort of known for a bit too. They'll just flip out, and they won't necessarily. Yeah, like Brett said, they won't mouth open or anything like that. They'll just flip out.
They're a lot more
just unpredictable
than other species.
They're predictable but unpredictable at the same time. Like generally speaking, you can predict what they're going to do, but just every now and then they can just flip out.
And again, throw it up here a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the closest I've had as well. But no bites from either of us. So always good.
Well, should we leave it on that note?
Yeah, I reckon we'll leave it on that for this episode. So, yeah.
That's pretty good. We covered a fair bit on that one.
Yeah, we covered a fair bit. And again, a lot of these topics we might do full episodes on down the track as well. So, we'll leave it on that. Thanks for watching, listening, however you're, viewing the podcast. Let us know what you think as well. Feedback's always appreciated. Hopefully by the time this comes out, we'll have the Facebook page up.
Yeah, we should probably do
for the podcast. Hopefully by the time this one comes out. Give that a like and subscribe or whatever you do on the on the socials.
Share it around and that sort of thing if you enjoy it, and tell everyone about it if it's actually if you guys enjoy it and that sort of thing. It's just sort of a thing that we just thought that talking about what we do just in general could be interesting for a lot of people. So we'll see how we go, and if you want to see what we do you probably get into this podcast from our socials, but like you got Brett
snake catching and relocation Adelaide Hills,
and I'll let you say that.
Too much of a mouthful, isn't it?
I'll let you say that because I stuff it up. And then I'm Barossa Reptile Service on Facebook, and just Facebook. If you want to have a look and see what we do, we try to post a fair bit and get a bit of content out there. And then like Brett said, we'll try and start up a Facebook page, some socials for the podcast too, and see how that goes. And we'll try and maybe if we get keen, do some small clips and stuff and post them on there. And
that's a good idea.
All that sort of stuff. So, and we can maybe even do like the small clips, and if we actually have a video of the story we're talking about, we might be able to chuck that on there or something like that. So for a bit of reference. So All right.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next one.
All right, cheers.